Hello and welcome to Creating Individualized and Group Learning Paths portion of the Blackboard Black Belt course. The objectives of this course are to learn how to create and manage groups in Blackboard, create, submit, and grade group assignments, explore learning modules, and finally, to learn a little bit about adaptive release and test availability exceptions. In this video, we'll explore how an instructor can create a specialized learning path for an individual or for a group of individuals. Let's get started with creating and managing groups. Students can be placed into groups to work on projects or other class assignments. Instructors can access the group tool from the control panel under Users and Groups. However, keep in mind the students do not have access to the control panel, so it is a good idea to create a tool link in the main menu so that students have easy access to their groups. Let's do that now by clicking on the Add menu icon in the top left corner of the course. Then select Tool Link. From here, give it a name using something intuitive like My Groups. Next, choose Groups under the Type menu and go ahead and check the Available to Users checkbox if you want the menu item to be visible to students. Click Submit. You are now ready to move the menu item up to where you'd like it to be in the course menu. Click the link to navigate to the Groups tool page. As you can see, we don't have any groups set up in our course, so we're going to need to create some. Groups can be created one at a time or in sets. For example, you might want to create a single group just for graduate students in a cross-listed course, or a single group for those students in your class that are going to be working on a service learning project. If you want to create groups for a project assignment that the entire class will be participating in, that is done with group sets. We are going to cover that later in the video. For now, let's begin by creating a single group. To create a single group, begin by hovering over the Create menu. Here, you can see that we have two options under the Single Group area. We can create a self-enroll group or a manual enroll group. Self-enroll groups allow students to pick whether or not they want to be in a group and to enroll via a sign-up sheet. Manual enroll groups allow the instructor to enroll the students in the group. Self-enroll groups are great if you have a particular project or interests within your class that students can elect to join based on their personal preference. Manual enroll groups work out nicely when the instructor needs to have control over which students are enrolled in which groups. Let's begin by creating a self-enroll group. First, let's give our group a name. I'm going to name mine Self-Enroll Group. Give the group a description if you'd like, and set the group visibility options. If we leave the default options to yes, the group will be available to students immediately after they sign up. If we change the setting to sign-up sheet only, students will be able to sign up for the group and won't be able to access the group until you go in and manually change the setting. I'm going to allow the students to access the group immediately after signing up, so I'm going to leave it checked. You can make a variety of tools available or unavailable to groups. These tools allow your group members to interact with each other via blogs, discussion boards, journals, wikis, etc. If you decide to use blogs, journals, or wikis, you can also set these to be graded assignments by entering in a value in the Points Possible text box. Please note that these tools are only for the group that you are creating. Any content created within these tools cannot be accessed by the remainder of the students that are not enrolled in this specific group. The module personalization settings are where the instructor can give permissions for the students in the group to modify the layout of the group homepage, add personal modules to the group homepage, such as calculator and a dictionary, and more. Personal modules added by a group member can only be viewed by the person who adds the module. Under the Sign Up Options area, we need to give our sign-up sheet a name. I'm going to name mine Self-Enroll Group Sign-up Sheet. We can then type in the instructions for the sign-up sheet right here. Set the maximum number we want to be allowed in the self-enroll group. We can also allow students to see the names of the other members in the group before they sign up by checking the Show Members box. Instructors can select the check box for allowing students to sign up from the group's listing page. This will allow users to access the sign-up sheet from the group's listing page, or you can also add the sign-up sheet to a content area so users can access it alongside relevant content. Finally, if you'd like to create a Grade Center Smart View for the group, you can do so by clicking this box here. Grade Center Smart Views are simply filters or focus views of the full Grade Center. These come in handy when you only want to view specific grade items, like assignments for a specific group. When all of your options are set like you would like, click Submit. Now, if we enter into Student Preview mode and click on the Groups link in the menu, we see the name of the new group as well as the Sign Up button. Clicking on the button takes us to the sign-up sheet we created, complete with its instructions and the max number allowed. We can also see that a few students have already joined the group. This looks like a fantastic group to join, so I'm going to go ahead and sign up by clicking the Sign Up button. Within the Groups page, we see that we have 3 modules: Group Properties, Group Tools, and Group Assignments. Group Properties displays the group description and all the group members. Group Tools displays all the tools that we selected when creating the group. And finally, the Group Assignments module displays any assignments that the instructor has assigned specifically to this group. These modules can be rearranged by the students by hovering to the left of the module name, then dragging and dropping them to their desired location. Students can also collapse or expand the module contents by clicking on the disclosure triangle to the left of the module name. Now that we know how to create a self-enroll group, let's demonstrate how to manually assign students to groups. For this demonstration, I am going to set up a single group for all of the graduate students in our cross-listed class. I know that I'm going to have all the graduate students submit an extra paper and participate in additional discussion boards. So let's begin by hovering over the Create menu. Then, select Manual Enroll. The settings for Manual Enroll group are the same as the Self-Enroll group, with the exception that this doesn't have a sign-up sheet option. Let's begin by giving our group a name. I'm going to name mine Manual Enroll Group. We can give our group a description if we'd like, and we can set the group's visibility options. I'm going to leave all of these default tools selected, but you can always control which tools you make available to your students. I'm going to create a Grade Center Smart View for the group. Then, we are presented with membership options. Clicking on the Add Users button displays a pop-up window where we can select individual students to enroll in the group. I'm going to select all the students that I know are graduate students here and click Submit. Now we can see all the students who will be enrolled in this group. You can modify this list by either clicking on the Add Users button or the Remove All Users button. The instructor can also manually remove users from the group by clicking the Delete icon to the right of the Users row. Now that we have our options set and all the students enrolled that we want, simply click on the Submit button to finish creating your group. Now let's enter Student Preview mode. Then click on the Groups link in the menu. Here we will notice that there aren't any new groups in here because my preview user was not assigned to one of the groups. However, if I have my preview user information saved, I can manually add it to the group, and then we'll be able to see the group in my Groups area. Now, to add a user to a group, I'll go to the Course Management area and scroll to Users and Groups. Select Groups from the menu. Then click the drop-down arrow next to the group name and select Edit Group. Next, scroll to the membership area and click Add Users. Click the checkbox next to the user's name that you want to add and select Submit. Now let's enter Student Preview mode again and access our groups. Keep in mind that students will only see groups that they have been manually assigned to or self-enroll groups. Moreover, students cannot unenroll themselves from groups. This is a permission that is reserved for the instructor. That's how we create a single group. But what if we want to create several groups at once? For example, you have an end-of-semester project that all students will participate in, but the students will be working in various groups to complete the assignment. Well, that's where group sets come in. To create multiple groups at once, hover over the Create menu, and under the Group Set column, notice that we have three options: Self-Enroll, Random Enroll, and Manual Enroll. Two of the options under Group Sets, Self and Random, are similar to how we created the single group, with the exception that you can set how many groups within the set you want to create. Let's create a manual enrollment group. Begin by giving your group set a name. Here we'll see the same options as the previous group we created. Select the desired settings for the tool availability as needed. Allow module personalization if you'd like. Then choose the number of groups you would like to create. Clicking the Submit button takes you to an additional enrollments page where you can add users to the individual groups and name the groups as you wish. If you leave this box here checked, you're going to see that if you add students to one group, they will no longer show up as available students in the group options. If you decide that you need an additional group, you can also easily do this by clicking the Add Group button here. When you are all finished, click Submit. Finally, you can also create multiple groups in the set and have Blackboard randomize the enrollment for you. Let's begin by choosing Random Enroll from the Group Set column. Like the previous groups we created, you will need to select the desired settings for tool availability, module personalization, and group set options. Next, we have the membership area. This option allows you to determine the number of groups you want to create within the set by setting the number of students per group or by creating a set number of groups. The last option here is just asking you how you want to handle the remaining members. For example, if you have a class of 30 students and you create 4 groups, you're going to end up with 4 groups of 7 students and 2 students left over without a group. So you can distribute the remaining members of the group, which puts 1 student in each group until all the remaining students are in a group. You can also put the remaining students in their own group, or you can manually add the remaining members to their own groups if you'd like. I'm going to leave the default setting and then click Submit. This returns us to the group page where you can see a list of all the groups. Here you can change the name of the groups as needed by editing the groups manually. Well, that's all there is to creating groups in your course. Now that we know how to create groups, let's begin by exploring how to manage groups. From the main groups page, we can select all or check individual groups. Then hover over bulk actions. From here, you can delete multiple groups at once, or you can create Grade Center Smart Views for the groups. Hovering over the View Options menu, you can select Show Tool Availability, which enables the instructor to see all the group's properties in one place. From here, you can turn on or off tool items for individual groups without having to go back in and edit the group manually. Finally, you may have noticed that we have been working under the All Groups tab. However, there is a Group Sets tab and an All Users tab. The All Users tab is an especially handy tool that allows the instructor to see each group and know which group or groups they are enrolled in. Moreover, the instructor can easily remove or add students to groups from this page. Here you have the Group Setting button. You can also allow students to create their own groups and permit students to create self-enroll groups. You can also select to permit students to edit student-created groups. With this option on, students will see a Create Group button at the top left of the Groups page and be able to edit those groups. Well, that concludes the first video in the Creating Individualized and Group Learning Paths Blackboard Black Belt course. In this video, we learned how to create single groups using self-enroll and manual enroll, create group sets including the random enroll function, and finally, we learned to change group permissions to allow students to create their own groups and how to easily manage groups. In the next video, we are going to go over group assignments. See you soon in part 2.